Do you dream of building your own independent luxury brand? Well, you can if you avoid the mistakes that many entrepreneurs make in trying to build their own brands. I'm going to share with you in this video the essentials, the ideas that I have put together after working with hundreds of independent small luxury brands. By the end of this video, you're going to know the essentials to think about and to work on in building your own independent luxury brand. My name is Andre Taylor, and I advise luxury brands, large and small. Now, I've been working with smaller luxury brands for decades. And when most people think of brands, they think of the larger brands, the brands that we know and love, the ones that we see in the malls, on the beautiful boulevards, the high fashion districts. But there is a groundswell of independent luxury brands that are emerging around the world. And I work with many of these brands in many different countries. Now, the question always is, what do you do to build a brand and how do you think about it? And there are many things that you should be considering in building your own independent luxury brand. Most of those things are not the ideas that come naturally to individuals because, let's face it, it's natural to look at the large brands and think about, how do I do what they're doing? The reality is, if you do what they're doing, you probably will run into trouble. So on this video, I'm going to share with you the way you should be thinking about independent luxury brand building. Can you build an independent luxury brand today? Can you make money doing so? Can you capture the attention of a luxury audience? Yes, yes, yes. And we're going to talk some more about how to do that. Now, the luxury sector can seem like a closed club, and for a long time it was. We did not see the independent brands around the world that were emerging. We didn't realize they were there. But there's something different today, and that is we have visibility through the internet, through our mobile devices, through the various apps and websites and all of the things that have given us exposure as independent brands and visibility as luxury consumers. What that means is the consumer can make different choices today. And the more they become aware of what those choices are and what the possibilities are, the more the luxury consumer will make those choices. This is why there's such an opportunity for you in building a luxury brand. But in order to do so, you have to become savvy on how to operate in this environment. You see, you are in a very different world than it once was. Not everyone feels like they have to get in the car, drive to a store, and take advantage of what's going on in a particular location, in a brick and mortar location. Not everyone even wants to buy a product or a brand that is visible and everyone has. Not everyone believes that a brand that is large, well marketed, is necessarily the best thing to buy. So the consumer has lots of choices today, and that opens up lots of opportunity for you as an independent luxury entrepreneur. Now, the question is, what steps do you take? What do you prioritize? Because the natural thought is, okay, I've got to build this product. I've got to create this service. I've got to create this experience. And a lot of entrepreneurs get bogged down in that process and they never go to market. Or they go to market and they've forgotten all these other things. Or they prioritize that aspect and they don't prioritize other aspects of brand building, which are essential to your growth. So what are those essentials? Now, one of those essentials is agility. And it means being able to move very quickly, very decisively, very creatively in order to build your business. This is one advantage you have as a small luxury brand. Most luxury brands are obviously much larger, and they don't have the ability to turn on a dime. They don't have the ability to respond to a client's needs immediately. You know, the person who is on the account, who is servicing someone who comes into a store, has to be involved in a lot of different things. They're involved in understanding the product line. They're involved in understanding how to follow up with someone who came in. They're involved in understanding, in some cases, how to set up the displays and how to work with the products. Now, you will be doing those kinds of things as an entrepreneur as well. However, you have the ability to make your own decisions. You have the ability to move quickly. You see, a larger brand is burdened with expenses and burdened with other requirements, burdened with infrastructure. And you are not, hopefully. So you are in a position where you can move quickly, you can move decisively, and that's one of the key essentials that you must develop as a luxury brand, is understanding that your business and the way you must move, how quickly, how creatively, how decisively, is very different than other brands. Now, the challenge is, as a founder of a small luxury brand, you need a lot of skills. And a lot of those skills, when someone is starting a brand, they're not thinking about. They're thinking about the product, they're thinking about the logo, they're thinking about the materials, they're thinking about the beautiful room they're going to create, but they're just not thinking about some of these other skills. I have an acronym that I use when I'm coaching and speaking. It's called R.E.A.D.Y, R-E.A.D.Y. And that stands for real-time, entrepreneurial, agile, dynamic, and youthful. You must be ready as a luxury entrepreneur. And as you begin to understand that acronym and go deeper into its meaning, it will keep you in a position to respond and to move forward creatively every day. So remember this, you must have many business skills. And when I go into this with the entrepreneurs that I coach and the coursework, we really get into the nitty-gritty of those skills, because those skills are going to enable you to succeed. And when you look through barriers that are typically in a larger brand, and you remove those barriers, and you begin to operate more entrepreneurial, you will see that the opportunity for you is bigger than ever. So you will have to learn business building. And when I speak to an entrepreneur, my inclination is to say to them, okay, let's get started today. The thought often is, let's plan and plan and plan and plan. And I believe in planning. I believe that you should be thinking through what you want to do beforehand. But often, the planning delays your learning. And if you have a concept, if you have an idea, immediately begin talking to people about it. Immediately begin enrolling people into that idea. Immediately think about how you can build revenue around that idea. The difficulty in growing a small enterprise is sales more than anything else. It's understanding how to sell the product. It's understanding how to capture the attention of the marketplace. And many entrepreneurs delay that. They wait until everything is ready, everything is precise, and then they say, let's go. Often, that is late because you have to remember that the world is a moving target, that many of the things you're observing today and the decisions that you might make today would be different tomorrow. Now, it is possible that you can seize those opportunities tomorrow, but keep in mind that as things improve and as things change for you, they're also changing for your competition. They're also changing for your buyers. So you might say, oh, there's a new technology that's coming that will enable me to do certain things. Yes, and that technology is going to enable others to do the same thing. So the mindset of an entrepreneur is particularly important here in brand building. It's understanding how to seize opportunity. And I have to tell you that often I have been ahead of the viability of certain products and services when I've introduced them in my various businesses. And sometimes that hurts me because I'm talking about things that people don't yet understand. But I believe that that is one of the reasons why I have been successful in coaching so many entrepreneurs, because I've been able to look at what they're doing from many different angles. And it's because I have never had the luxury of waiting until everything is perfect. I've had to take advantage of whatever resources I had at any given moment to move forward. Now, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that I talk about many different angles in approaching business building for luxury brands. In this video, I want to emphasize three very specific things, and I'm going to put them in the category of equity. By the way, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this channel because you're going to really get a lot of benefit, not only from this video, but from all the videos on this channel and the videos to come. Let's talk about equity. What does equity mean? We're talking about building the value of your enterprise. And what builds the value of your enterprise? Well, the first thing that builds value in your enterprise is having a client. I have clients that I've had for 20 years. I have clients that the minute I introduce something, whatever that is, they immediately decide they're going to buy it. And it's because I have built a relationship with that client whereby I serve them and they trust me. So building a client relationship is essential, and it's one of the key elements of equity that you can build in a luxury brand. Even more so than your product, even more so than your location, even more so than your service. Building a client base, building a relationship with your client is really key. And that is where the value is in your business, that relationship. If you were selling a business and someone else was selling a business to a potential buyer, and you had lots of relationships, and the other business had lots of product, I would say that those relationships that you have are going to be far more valuable because those clients trust you and they will move with you wherever you go. New season, new collection, new direction, new website, new app, new community. Clients are equity. So keep that in mind. Having clients builds value in your business. Now, why is a client so valuable to your business? It's because a client has a trusted relationship with you. They trust you. And this is based on the way one approaches serving a client. I like to make the distinction between a client and a customer. A customer is typically more transactional. They come in, they buy something, they leave. They buy something again, but they're not engaging with you typically on an ongoing basis. You're not following up with them all the time. You should be, but maybe you're not. A client I look at as very different. And this is a model from financial services, from any kind of retainer relationship. A client is just very different in that the person that serves a client is looking out for their interests. They have a fiduciary responsibility. So when you are building a luxury brand, that's what you should be thinking. It's not only selling the product or the service or the experience. It's the fiduciary relationship that you're developing with that client. That is the approach that I've taken in building my practice, my consulting practice, and my speaking career, and my writing career, and all the things that I do, because my view is that even if a formal relationship with a client ends, I'm still looking out for them. I'm still letting them know I saw something that I think is of value to you. Something came up today that I think you should look into. And that tells the client that it was more than just a financial transaction. Today, community, client relationships are essential. And so you should be thinking about that immediately when you are building a luxury brand. It is one of those essentials. And the reason is because that person is going to develop trust in you. And that relationship is going to make that a strong, long-term relationship. Now, the second bit of equity is audience. Today, so many people are focused on content marketing. And when I say audience, I mean that, and I mean much more. Think of your audience as someone that may or may not have a buying relationship with you, but they are following along. I don't necessarily mean followers on social media, but they observe. They know you. They're familiar with you. Maybe it's someone who follows you formally online. Maybe it's someone who, like you, have subscribed to a YouTube channel. But it's someone who pays attention to you. Now, this could be a friend of a friend. This could be someone in the same business. This could be someone on a social platform whereby, when they see something that you've posted, they pay attention to it. And that person may not have taken a step yet with you, but they might subscribe to your newsletter. They might buy a book if you have a book. They might come out and participate in an event if you give an event. So that is the second bit of equity you're developing in your business. An audience. The knowledge that there's a group of people out there that know you. I often will have someone who will leave a comment and they'll say, I met you in this city in the past, or I bought your book and it's good to see you here and I just subscribed. So there are people who are out there who know about you and who are aware of what you do and aware of the value, but you don't always know who those people are. Now, that is the benefit of the various things we talk about in marketing. Creating lead magnets and creating a scenario whereby the person can give you their contact information. But you always have to be aware that those people are out there. And so while you have clients who you know who they are specifically, you have another layer of individuals and companies who you may not know by name, but it is an audience. The goal is to get to know them by name and to convert them into clients and to convert them into higher levels of your product and service and experience. But this is the second level of equity that you should be thinking about early on in terms of building your luxury brand. Now, notice here, we haven't talked about product, materials, colors, logo, where something was made, shipped, assembled, designed, the craftsmanship, the distinction, any of those things yet. And I would put those things in third as the level of equity. Now, I know some of the people watching this might say, Andre, are you kidding me? The product is the main thing. And there are videos where I will emphasize the product as being able to lead you into the right doors. But for the purpose of building an independent luxury brand and this discussion, I want you to think of your product as third on the list. And I want you to think of your product as intellectual property, IP, because what we're looking for is something that is unique to you, something that is unusual. Now, it does not mean that you have to make the product. It does not mean that this product is only available through you. I believe that the combination of the product, the way the product is sold, who sells the product, creates a unique value, a unique kind of equity that can make your business very different. For example, you can buy coffee any number of places, and you might like a particular brew than another, but you might prefer one coffee shop because in that coffee shop, the way it's designed is more comfortable, or you can linger there, or you can have a meeting there, or you happen to like the pastries they sell, or you like the lighting, you like the way it smells when you walk in the door, you like the neighborhood that it's in. So all of these elements are elements that can make your business unique. And when you think about what you're doing, think about all of those elements combined and the equity that is produced by all of those elements combined. Because clients and customers make decisions based on more than the individual product. They don't just decide that they're going to go to a restaurant or a hotel because the hotel has a bed, has a king-size bed. They may go to the hotel because I really like the bar in that hotel. I really like the lobby in that hotel. This is a great place for me to have a meeting. I like the decor in this hotel. So think of all of this as intellectual property. And how this relates to a small brand is that these things can give you the edge. Now, this includes you as an individual, the way you approach things, the way you serve the client, the way you explain things, the way you walk them through the great pairing between food and the right wine. All of these things can be unique to you and are equity. It's equity that you're building in your business and in your relationship with your client. So when you think of these three things, your client, your audience, your IP, you have something that's really unique, and you have something that you can market that can really position you very differently than anyone else and can generate the revenue and profit that you want in your business. What I try to do with small luxury brands is to get them to think differently about who they are in the world and think about their advantages and not their disadvantages. Because if you press forward on those advantages, you will be able to succeed, no question, because there are enough people who will buy from you, who are ready to buy your product or service, but you have to think about what you do differently. Now, the other thing you want to think about in building your luxury brand is marketing. Marketing will be the power that drives your luxury brand. And there's a unique kind of marketing you should be engaged in. If you want to learn more about marketing as a small luxury brand, write me at info@andretaylor.com. I work with countless small luxury brands on the specific kind of marketing that you should be employing as a growing brand. Remember that you are building equity. And as you build that equity, you are going to evolve as a brand. You are going to expand as a brand. Learning how to do that at each stage is essential. And you'll want to take advantage of some of the resources I have to help you do that. Now take a look at this video.